The FIA have finally decided to step in and change porpoising. There's been so much talk about porpoising again in recent weeks, especially due to what happened at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, where lots of teams and drivers were speaking up about the bouncing and the safety issues this was causing. I didn't even know the term porpoising until this season, and now it's a word I've written 1,000 times. Hopefully with what the FIA is going to do next, we won't have to talk about it again for a very long time. There were plenty of suggestions thrown around to try and combat the porpoising problem, but also a difficult balancing act on how to make it fair. What I mean by this is the FIA can't simply change the rules at this stage of the season because some teams haven't been able to build a car that gets around the issue. That would disadvantage the likes of Red Bull, who seem to have hit the sweet spot this year with the new regulations. So instead, the FIA are going to introduce a closer scrutiny of the planks and skids, both in terms of their design and their observed wear. What this means in terms I can understand: if there is any evidence of the underside of the car bouncing or hitting the ground too aggressively, the FIA could step in and force teams to change their setup and alter the amount of ground clearance on the cars, and even go as far as penalising drivers and teams heavily if they exceed a certain limit. This isn't good news for teams like Mercedes and probably Ferrari too. Try not to cry, Matt. Try not to cry, Matt. Those cars do love their extreme bouncing. There's more information that the FIA have said, which is around the process of them coming up with a metric or measurement for the amount of porpoising that is actually acceptable. Apparently this metric is still being decided, and the FIA are hoping to work with the teams themselves to come up with a positive solution, but one that is still aimed to be implemented this weekend. The free practice will very much be used for some data gathering for the FIA to trawl through. One of the teams that will likely be affected the most by this is Mercedes. After a bumpy weekend in Azerbaijan causing Lewis Hamilton to struggle to get out of his own car, Mercedes have been very vocal in their criticism of this year's porpoising cars. The moment where Hamilton came over the radio to say that his seat had gone cold most likely alerted a lot of people within the FIA that something needs to be done about this. It was not anything spilling in the 7-time champ's car, but in fact his back going numb from the bouncing. This is dangerous to say the least. By increasing their scrutineering of the car's skids and planks, the FIA can now effectively force cars to go slower. According to reports, this is in the best interest of the driver's health. However, as the amount of porpoising varies from team to team, this new directive will only really apply to those who've been worst affected. This may well be the end of the dream, Ferrari fans. Although, can we call the races since Australia a dream? Probably not. There you have it, how the porpoising saga has developed once more. What do you make to the FIA's decision? Let us know in the comment section below.